that Congress has to authorize a strategic attack, not an attack during hot pursuit, but a strategic attack on weaponry in Iran. Do you need congressional approval as Commander-in-Chief?
Answer, Chris, it depends on one thing. First, I think the President does not need that if the target is fleeting. We live in this age of terrorists with high technology, and if you have a very narrow window to hit a target, the President's going to have to take that on his shoulders. He's going to have to do it. He has a right to do that under the Constitution as a Commander-in-Chief of the military forces. If he has time, then certainly you want to go to Congress, as we did in Iraq, and get the approval of Congress. So it's a matter of whether or not the target is fleeting. And with respect to Iran, Iran is walking down the path to build a nuclear device. They've got now about 1,000 centrifuges. They claim they've got 3,000. At some point, we may have to preempt that target. If we do, it should be done, hopefully with allies, but perhaps by the U.S. alone.
Same question down the line, gentlemen. It's so important. Congressman Paul, do you believe the President needs authorization of Congress to attack strategic targets in Iran, nuclear facilities?
Absolutely. This idea of going and talking to attorneys totally baffles me. Why don't we just open up the Constitution and read it? You're not allowed to go to war without a declaration of war. Now, as far as fleeting enemies go, yes, if there's an imminent attack on us, we've never had that happen in 220 years. The thought that the Iranians could pose an imminent attack on the United States is preposterous. There's no way. This is just war propaganda, continued war propaganda, preparing this nation to go to war and spread this war not only in Iraq but into Iran unconstitutionally. It is a road to disaster for us as a nation. It's a road to our financial disaster if we don't read the Constitution once in a while.
Around the horn, Congressman. Governor Huckabee, same question. Do you need Congress to approve such an action?
A president has to do whatever is necessary to protect the American people. If we think Iran is building nuclear capacity that could be used against us in any way, including selling some of the nuclear capacity to some other terrorist group, then yes, we have a right to do it.
Without going to Congress?
And I would do it in a heartbeat.
Without going to Congress?
Well, if it's necessary to get it done because it's actionable right now, yes. If you have the time and the luxury of going to Congress, that's always better.
And if Congress says no, what do you do? If Congress says no, what do you do, Governor?
You do what's best for the American people and you suffer the consequences, but what you don't do is what you never do is let the American people one day get hit with a nuclear device because you had politics going on in Washington instead of the protection of the American people first.
Senator McCain.
We're dealing, of course, with hypotheticals. If the situation is that it requires immediate action to ensure the security of the United States of America, that's what you take your oath to do when you're inaugurated as President of the United States. If it's a long series of build-ups where the threat becomes greater and greater, of course you want to go to Congress. Of course you want to get approval if this is an imminent threat to the security of the United States of America. So it obviously depends on the scenario, but if I would at minimum consult with the leaders of Congress, because there may become a time where you need the approval of Congress, and I believe that this is a possibility that is maybe closer to reality than we are discussing tonight.
Governor, Senator Thompson.
On this question, yes, I think that John has it right. I would add that under the War Powers Act, there's always a conflict between the Congress and the President as to the exact applicability of that when an engagement lasts for a particular period of time and when they must come before Congress. I don't think anybody running for president should diminish the powers of the office before he gets there and take side in a hypothetical dispute. But I would say that in any close call, you should go to Congress, whether it's legally required or not, because you're going to need the American people. And Congress will help you if they're voting for it or they support it, or leaders, especially in the opposite party, are convinced and looking at the evidence that this is the right thing to do. That will help you with the American people. And we have learned that over the long term in any conflict, we've got to have the strong support of the American people over a protracted period of time.
Okay, let's just to bring it up to date on this, the political context. You know, Mayor, that Hillary Clinton has proposed legislation. She's co-sponsored legislation to do just this, require the president to come to Congress for any decision to go attack a nuclear facility in Iran.
It really depends on exigency of the circumstances and how legitimate it is that it really is an exigent circumstance. It's desirable, it's safer to go to Congress, get approval from Congress. If you're really dealing with an exigent circumstance, then the president has to act in the best interest of the country. And the point that I think it was Congressman Paul made before, that we've never had an imminent attack, I don't know where he was on September 11.
That was no country. That was 19 thugs. It had nothing to do with a country.
And since September, well, I think it was kind of organized in Afghanistan and Pakistan. And if we had known about it, maybe hitting a target there quickly might have helped prevent it. In any event, we've had 23 plots since September 11 where Islamic terrorists are planning to kill Americans that we've had to stop. So imminent attack is a possibility, and we should be ready for it. Now, you asked me about Hillary Clinton. At the last Democratic debate, Hillary Clinton was asked by Tim Russert whether she agreed with my position on Iran. I like that form of debate, by the way. Okay. Anytime you want to do it that way, ask her if she agrees with my other positions as well. But on Iran, what she said was, she was asked, would you take a strong position that Iran will not be allowed to become nuclear, and that we would use a military option if we had to, and she didn't answer the question. Well, you've got to answer the question. The answer is yes, we would. Iran is a